Good day everyone, and welcome back to the channel. As usual, my name is Henry and I'm gonna be your tutor on today's video. In today's video, we're going to be going through a full course on Lumion 11 Pro, and we're going to be covering on the steps and methods in starting from this Revit project you can see on the screen and achieving this amazing render. Okay, so it's gonna be a long video, and I will encourage you to have patience and just follow through so you get all the steps I personally use in achieving this quality of render. Okay, before we move on, we would like you to subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell to get notified when we release new videos, and share with your friends to get this kind of good content. And without any further ado, we are going to jump right into the video. Okay, as you can see on my screen, we actually have a Revit project. It's kind of like an apartment building. So the first thing we're going to do before we start exporting to Lumion is we are going to hide these fences for now. Okay, after hiding the fences, then the next thing to do is to click on this wall and tap HH to temporarily hide it. So what we want to do now is we want to hide all the furnitures and make the model as light as possible. So we're just going to select one of them, hide in view by category, then temporarily hide this wall too, so we'll be able to see the interiors, then hide in view again. Okay, this is actually a casework, so we don't need to hide in view by category, it's not heavy. So we'll pick this sink, hide in view by category. So we're going to click on this wall, so we'll see more of the interiors, and click on HH, so we'll temporarily hide it. Then hide this furnitures in view by category. Okay, we're also going to click on these toilet walls. Okay, I think all the toilet components are hidden as well, so I think we're almost ready to export. Okay, so the final thing before we will do before we start exporting is to actually purge the Revit file and reduce the weight. So to do that, we are going to go to this manage tab over here, go to purge unused, then simply click on it, and it will actually show you the number of items that are not in use. So we'll just click OK to purge it. You can just repeat the process just to make sure that the project is as light as possible. Okay, then we're going to hit Ctrl S just to save it. Okay, so now we have purged the project. The next thing to do is to start exporting. So we're going to click on export, and we're going to go to this Lumion tab. Then we're going to click on export, click on this export tab, so we'll export as a Colladae file, leave it at high, then click export, then export and save it where we want to save it appropriately. So I'm just going to click on it, and we're just going to leave the name as full course sample. Okay, now we have exported the main building model. We're just going to select this whole model. We want to start exporting the fence, so we're going to simply type HH on our keyboards and it will temporarily hide. So we're going to click on this reveal hidden elements toggle over here. Then we're going to see the hidden fences, and we're going to export them one after the other. So we're going to use this on hide in view by element. Okay, then we're going to select this, or rather you don't need to select it. Then we're going to click on this export tab and export it. So we're going to rename this fence as, just let's give it a name, UF1. That is, it's actually like a short form for fence 1. Okay, if you notice something, all right, so we're going to click hide again. I just noticed something, that these gates didn't actually unhide with it. So I'm just going to tab, because it seems I hid by category the component, so the gate hid as well. So I'm just going to unhide by category just for the sake of this fence. As you notice, you also notice that it actually came back with some of the families or components. So I'm just going to select all of them and hide in view by element. So I'm going to hold Ctrl key, select all of them, hide in view, right click, hide in view by element. Okay, so we're going to re-export this front fence. So So we're going to export it as UF1. Okay, then we're going to select this reveal element again. Then we're going to hide this fence we have exported, hide in view by element. Then we're going to click on this second fence and we're going to unhide in view by element. Unhide in view by elements. So we're going to uncheck this. Okay, so we're going to export it again and we're going to export it as UF2. UF2. Okay, we're going to repeat it again and hide this one back again. So we'll export the third fence. Then we're going to click on this fence at the back. Then I'm going to unhide this fence and uncheck this reveal elements toggle. So I'm going to click on export, export again. I'm going to change it to UF3. That is the third fence. Okay, I'm going to repeat it again one final time. Then I'm going to uncheck this reveal elements, or rather check it to reveal the hidden elements, then unhide in view by elements. Then I'm going to export again. I'm going to name it UF4. Or let me just select it again and just change the 3 to 4. Okay, that's said and done. We're going to select this fence again, hide in view and hide it. Then we're going to simply type H arrow to reverse the temporary height. So we have our model again. We're just going to click Ctrl S and save it just in case. Okay, now we are done with Revit. We're going to go over to Lumion. Just a quick interruption. I've actually made the DAE files of this project available for download. The link will be in the description below. So the advantage of downloading this file is to actually make this tutorial easy for you to follow, since you're actually using the same model of the same project. So you can just follow it perfectly and it will make learning easier for you. Although it will actually cost you a little token, and it can also be a way of you saying thank you to the channel and encouraging us to do more. So without further ado, we are going to go back to the video. Okay, and we're going to click on, as usual, click on this create new project and create a plain project. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is to go to this import tab over here, click on it, then locate our Lumion exports. Then we are going to start importing. So we are going to import the main buildings first. Okay, now the building has been imported. We are just going to place it. As you can see, because of the purging we did, we actually made the building lighter, and now it makes things easier for us in Lumion. So we are just going to hover around a bit, then we are going to import the fences. So we're going to start importing the fence UF1. The fences are very light, so they will just quickly import, and we're just going to place it somewhere here. Don't mind the placement for now. You'll see how I'm going to solve the issue. So we're going to place UF2. Just going to place it here. Place UF3, or rather fence 3, just in case you people missed the first part. Then we're going to go to fence 4. Okay, now we've imported it. We're just going to select, click on this select icon over here. Then we're going to hold the Control key on our keyboard, select the whole models, go to this tab over here, click on this side link or side icon, then click on this align positions and just click on it. Okay, now our project has been aligned successfully. So we're going to go into the next phase. Okay, the next thing to do is to actually start picking views. Okay, so we're just going to go to this photo icon over here, and we're going to try and pick a nice view. As you can see, we actually have an issue here. This fence is obstructing the building, although the fence will be used for later views. So what we're going to do is to go back to this build. So we're going to click on each of these fence and assign them to different layers. So to do that, we're just going to click on it, and change this one to level, let's make this one level 5, change this one to level 2, change this fence to level 3, change this fence to level 4. So everything is kind of in a concentric manner. So we're just going to go back to the photos and we're going to start picking shots. So the first thing I'm going to do is, for this view, I actually noticed an issue here. I noticed that the model is off the ground, so I don't want this because of picking view issues. So I'm just going to select the model again, all of them, and actually use this vertical tool to move them down, so they'll actually be to the default Lumion natural ground level. Okay, so now I think we're at that position now. So we're going to go back into these photos again. So the first thing I'm going to do, just so I will not have anything obstructing my view, is to go to Add Effects, go to Object, and go to Layer of Visibility. Then I'm just going to uncheck. If you remember, I actually assigned this fence to view, layer 2, and I'm going to also hide layer 5. That is this fence over here. So I actually have the actual leverage to actually pick a very nice view. Now the fences are out of the way. That is why it's good, if you are modeling in Revit, it's always good to model and group the fence separately, so you can have this level of versatility while working in Lumion. So first thing I'm going to do for this view is to increase my focal length. So I'm trying to get a balanced perspective. So I'm just going to go back. Another tool I'm just going to add is the 2-point perspective. So I'm just going to pick a nice view. Okay, I'm going to reduce this focal length a bit. I'm going to pick a nice view that is actually a bit distorted, because honestly sometimes in 3D distorted views actually come out appealing sometimes. So I'm just going to increase the focal length. Then I'm going to carry my camera back, increase this eye level to about almost a meter. I'm just kind of going to display a bit because the view is not looking balanced. I actually don't like this view. I'm actually going to go and pick more of the side as well. Let me try and get a more balanced view. Increase it from 20 to 21. Okay, and we're going to go down a bit. And we're going to pick this shot. Okay, so we're just going to go to another view. Now, as you see, as we clicked another camera view, all the settings have reverted. So we're just going to another view. Okay, this time we're just going to pick an approach shot. So we're going to go here, increase this focal length a bit. We're first going to go back, go to FX again, go to Object, go to Visibility Layer, then hide this front fence, or rather approach fence. Go to FX again, go to Camera, go to 2-point perspective, and now we have, it's very interesting that most times when we do 3D views, it's actually very illusional. Like some views we get actually cannot exist in real life. It's not like I'm advising anybody to follow that path, but it's what I do. So judge me if you want to judge me. Okay, so I'm just going to pick an approach shot here. I'm actually still not inclined with this shot. I actually want to get some of those green area, and well, I think this is fair enough. So we're going to go and pick another shot over here, and we're going to click on this, so everything will revert again. I think 4 shots will do for this project. Okay, so I'm just going to go to Add Effects, go to Object, go to Layer Visibility, hide, I think this level 2 and layer 3, sorry, not level, layers. So I'm just going to place this and pick a nice perspective as well over this end here. So I'm just going to carry my camera view down. I'm going to go to FX again. I'm going to go to camera. I'm going to go to 2-point perspective. So I'm just going to select it, and I'm going to go down a bit. Okay, I actually want this perspective to be very balanced. So I'm just going to click on go up a bit. And click on store camera. Okay, so the next view I'm going to go to is actually the aerial view. This time I'm going to increase the focal length a lot. I'm going to go back and pick this aerial view showing the area of the site. So I'm just going to click store camera. And now, before we move any further, before we actually enter into any problems, I'm just going to go to these files here to save my project. So I'm going to click on save as, and I'm just going to name it sample. So I'm going to go back to build. So we're going to continue working. Okay, after we have actually set these views and we have picked these shots, okay, the next thing we're going to go is into the landscape aspect. So I'm just going to do a little bit of stuff on this landscape. So anyway, it's not much, but I'm just going to work with what I can do. So the first thing, I'm just going to go to this landscape, going to go to this landscape grass. I'm going to simply check this on icon. So as you can see, the landscape grass is not actually showing. I actually just noticed it now because I've actually created a grass material here. So this landscape grass is technically going to be useless. So I'm just going to uncheck it. So scratch that I said we need to work on the landscape. We don't actually need it. Then we're just going to go to the material aspects. Okay, in the material, we are going to start picking materials. I don't actually start picking all these grass materials because they potentially will lag the system due to the 3D grass is actually heavy. So we're just going to start from walls, and we're going to go to indoor, and I'm going to pick my favorite walls that I use every time, and I'm going to show you guys my favorite color palette. So I'm currently in page 2 of this internal indoor plaster. So I'm just going to go to this stucco paint. Then I'm going to change the color to blue. I'm going to make it light a bit, increase the coloration. Okay, it's looking too blue. Make it light, almost white, kind of blue. Reduce the glossiness, the reflectivity, reduce the scale, map scale, increase the relief so it will have some rough, realistic texture. The wall is looking kind of dim. Let me work on it by increasing the colorization. Then I'm just going to copy it. Then I'm going to paste it here. The reason I'm pasting it here is not because I want to use the same material. I just want to use it as a template material so I can easily adjust the darkness. So I'm going to reduce the colorization first of all, and I'm going to drop this darkness, this pitch, to kind of dark blue, or one kind of dark dirty blue. Okay, so I think this is fair. So I'm now going to go to this material. I actually want to put Tyrolean finish on this material. So I think one of the closest materials, since I don't have a Tyrolean bitmap, I'm just going to go to indoor. I'm going to go to indoor plaster. I'm going to go to page 2. We're going to zoom in close to this material, and we're going to see what we actually have. Then yes, I think this is the material. No, wait, I think aha. Okay, so this is the material I think is closest to Tyrolean finish on this one. So we're just going to increase the relief. The texture is just amazing. You can almost taste it. So I think that's weird, but whatever. Okay, so I'm just going to reduce it. I'm going to increase the colorization for it to be darker than other materials. So I'm just going to click good. Okay, I'm just going to go to this stone finish, and I'm going to change it to indoor. I'm going to go to indoor tiles. Then I'm going to go to this tree and I'm going to change this material to this. So I think this is alright. We're going to reduce the glossiness. Okay, and don't reduce it too much. Increase the relief. Also go to this weathering and increase the weathering a bit, and I think it's fine there. So we're also going to click on this this bulb metal or this wall sounds metal. We're going to go to indoor. We're going to go to metal, page 2. I think we're going to use this polymetal. Reduce the reflectivity. And funny enough, this material is what I actually use. I use something similar for my munions, so I'm just going to set it. Okay, then I'm going to increase the colorization a bit, then copy the material, click on this second munion, click on it, paste the material, then increase the colorization and make it go towards white, and I think this is okay. Then we're going to just change this glass. We're going to change it to plain glass, pure plain glass. We're going to tint the glass a bit, not too much. Increase the reflectivity a bit. Then I think this is enough. Then copy the material, paste it here, paste this material here, or paste the material, or rather I didn't copy properly, so I'm just going to click it again and I'm going to click copy. I'm going to click on this and I'm going to click paste material. I'm going to click save changes. Okay, so I'm making progress. So the next material we're going to click is this material. So we're now going to go to the indoor. We're going to go to indoor tiles and we are going to look for a nice masonry stone unit tiles. So we're just going to use this. I'm going to click it. We're going to reduce the map scale. We're going to increase the relief, reduce the glossiness. We're going to click finish. We're going to also change this railing glass. We're going to of course change it to this kind of tinted glass here. We're going to click finish. We're going to click on it. We're going to reduce the tint to about this level. Then we're going to just leave the reflectivity at this level. I think it's fine that way. We're going to go to this door and we're going to change the material of the door. So we're going to just click on the door, go to indoor, go to wood, then go to page 2, and we're just going to, no, I actually prefer this door. So now we have changed this material to a wooden material. We are going to reduce the relief, we are going to release the glossiness, and we're just going to copy it to other wooden parts of the door, both the frame. All of them should share the same material. Just going to paste all of them. Okay, so we are just going to do the same window and change this one to glazing, increase the reflectivity, tint the glazing a bit. We're also going to go to this door frame and go to indoor, metal, go to page 2, go to chrome steel, then actually reduce the relief, increase the colorization towards darkness, increase it this way, and reduce the map scale, and I think this is fine. So we're going to go to these floors here and we're going to edit this floor. Go to indoor tiles, go to 2, then change it to this tiles. I usually like using these gray tiles, but since it's actually 2, the color is looking monotonic, so I'm just going to change it from pure gray, so it will have a little bit of life in it, to this kind of checkers color, or rather red checkers, whatever. So I'm just going to increase the map scale a bit and I'm going to click finish. So I'm going to go to this the site components. I'll still go back to this building components. So the picking of materials doesn't need to be in order, just pick it as fast as you can. So I'm going to go to outdoor. We're going to go to outdoor stone. Let's look for the appropriate stone to use. What was that in stone? let's see what we are going to use. Okay, let's use this stone material. I think this one is nice. Okay, I think this is looking nice. We're going to give it this relief, and I think the material is okay. We're going to click this one. We're also going to indoor, or rather outdoor stone. Go to page 2. No, we don't have what we want here. We're just going to do it, and we're going to change it to this kind of reddish pattern, and I think it blends quite well. So we're going to click finish. Okay, we're also going to copy this wall paint and copy it to this fence, because I think, or rather we're going to use Tyrolean fence and see how it goes. So I'm just going to copy. Okay, going to use Tyrolean gray fence. Just going to paste it, paste the materials. Paste more of the materials. Okay, thus we are making progress. So we are going to go to this caps. We are going to change the caps to concrete. So we are going to go to outdoor. We are going to go to concrete. We are going to go to page 4, I think, or no, page 3. Then we are going to select the concrete material. Okay, this concrete is actually better suited for stamped concrete. Okay, I think this one goes well. So I'm just going to increase the relief, so the roughness of the concrete will actually come out, making it look more realistic. So we're just going to click finish. Okay, remember I told you the green areas are the last thing I'll do. Okay, I'm just going to edit one thing because I noticed one issue with this material here. So what I'm going to do, I want these edges, I don't want these edges to be actually sharp, so I'm just going to go to these smoothing edges, and it will actually automatically bevel the edges, making it look more realistic and making it look nicer. So I'm just going to click on this stamp concrete, go to outdoor, go to concrete, and I'm going to change this material to this one. Okay, and I think this is looking good, so I'm going to click finish. We're also going to change the material of this road. See me, I forgot to edit and put curves on this one, but we can always rectify that on Revit. We can simply go back to Revit, click on these curves, click on add or remove segment, click on tab to select the whole part, and click escape, and we're simply going to export again. Export to take some time, and yeah, I think the export is done. So we're just going to go back to this content library. We're going to click on select and select this model. So we're just going to click on this import key to actually reload the model, so the corrections will actually apply. So it will take some time. Okay, now as you can see, the changes have actually not been reloaded. I wonder why. So I'm just going to click on it and click. Okay, the model hasn't loaded. I wonder why. Okay, I actually noticed that when I exported this, I exported this file, I actually didn't save it as this full cost sample that it was actually. So I mistakenly saved it as this UFO. So I'm just going to export it appropriately. I'm going to replace it. Then I'm going to wait a bit. While I'm waiting, I can also continue working on this one and working on other stuff. So I'm just going to go back to materials, click on this, copy it, click on this material, paste it, and paste it. I'm going to click on this asphalt road. To change the material, I'm going to go to this indoor, or rather outdoor. Then I'm going to go to this asphalt materials or asphalt library, go to page 2, then go in so I can see the texture of what I'm selecting. Click on this asphalt material, and the thing has been selected. So I'm going to make it lighter. I don't want the asphalt to be this dark. I'm going to increase the brightness, the colorization, reduce it a bit, make it white. Okay, reduce it a bit. I think this is appropriate to reduce the reflectivity and glossiness. increase the relief, increase this colorization a bit so it won't be too dark. Then I'm just going to click finish, and before I move on, I'll also click on this and save the file again. Okay, so once it has been saved, I'll go back and continue working from here. I'm showing you guys this saving because I know how important it is. It's always good to save your files at intervals to avoid losing it or losing a very huge part of your progress. So I'm just going to copy this material once again. I'm going to copy it to this copy here. So I'm just going to change this copy material and I'm going to paste it. As you can see, as I'm applying many materials, the software is getting slower and slower because of the amount of load it is. So if you notice in D5, it will actually be showing you this tab over here to actually show you the percentage of your video RAM you're actually consuming. So it's always good to take note of that sometimes to actually check if you are overdoing it with the current capability of your system. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste this copy on this fence. Going to do the same over here. I'm going to do the same, and I'm going to go to this pergolas here, or rather fence railing. Then I'm going to go to indoor, I'm going to go to metal, I'm going to go to page 2, I'm going to go to iron, and I'm going to make the iron lighter in color, reduce the reflectivity a bit, increase the glossiness, reduce the relief, and copy it. So I'm going to actually copy it to this gate, copy it. So once you have a good template of materials, what you just be doing in Lumion is just copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste, or everywhere copy and paste. So I'm just going to do this and paste it. Okay, now we're going to select other materials, including these wooden cladding panels. So I'm going to select this, I'm going to go to indoor. I'm actually still thinking of which material I'll use for this. Let me see, let's just use this one and see how it looks. Going to double click it if it doesn't select on time. Okay, this is not actually bad. Reduce the glossiness. I think the glossiness is too much. Okay, increase it a bit. Then reduce the relief, increase the glossiness a bit. Okay, I think this is actually good. Reduce the glossiness a bit. Then we're going to click finish. Okay, now our materials are coming out. We're going to go to the roof. That is very important. Click on the roof material, click on indoor, or rather outdoor, go to roofing and change the material to this dark material. So as you can see, the material actually came out. So what I'm just going to do is to reduce the glossiness and reflectivity. So while I'm rendering, it won't actually be reflecting too much of the skylight. Increase the scale of this roof tiles. I think it's good this way. Increase the relief so it will be looking more enticing. So I'm just going to click on this concrete slab. I'm going to go to outdoor as usual, go to outdoor concrete. Then we're going to go to page 4 or page 3 and we're going to select this concrete material. I'm going to reduce the glossiness and increase the relief. Click finish. Okay, so now we are now going to start going to the luminous aspect of our material application. Those are the lights especially and the ceilings. So I'm just going to click on this. I'm going to go to indoor, I'm going to go to metal, I'm going to click on this brass. The reason I'm clicking brass is because it has these golden properties and it will give me the right color of light I want. So I'm just going to go to these settings and increase this emissive. Okay, now this emissive has been clicked. The thing is actually glowing lights. So I'm just going to copy this same thing and I'm going to paste it to some other parts. I'm going to click on this and I'm going to paste it. As you can see, the light is coming out, and I'm also going to paste this here. Okay, so I think we're almost done with material application. So if you remember, we actually exported that model, so we're just going to reload it now since the Revit model, because the update we wanted to do is to reload these caps. So we exported it before, so we're now going to try and reload it into Lumion. So as usual, we'll go here and just click on this reimport model key and wait a few seconds. So as you can see, our model has successfully imported and the issue has been rectified. Okay, so now we have applied this. We are just going to click on this ceiling mat, go to material once more. Go to this material once more, and we are just going to click on this paint. Since the ceiling, we are just going to make it pure white, and we are going to make it as white as possible and click on finish. Or rather, let's try something a bit interesting for this ceiling. Let's click on it, go to material, go to indoor, go to plastics, and look for one glossy plastic. Don't mind this purple, increase the colorization to white, increase the glossiness a bit, reduce the relief, leave the reflectivity. I just want the ceiling to be slightly reflective, so I'm just going to click finish. And we have successfully applied the materials. Okay, last but not least, let's just copy some final stone tiles. So we're just going to copy this material and we're going to paste it here. Okay, so we are going to now edit this green area, and we're going to select it, go to various, go to 3D grass, and I'm going to pick one of my favorites. I'm going to pick this number 2 checkerboard grass. Okay, and this is looking fine. Okay, so we're going to click save. Okay, and we're just going to go to files and save project. If you notice in this save, okay, we'll let it save, continue, complete save. Okay, if you notice in this save, there's actually a timer here. This timer actually shows how long ago you saved. So if it's actually more than 10 minutes, it will actually be shining red and telling you that, oh, you have not saved in 10 minutes, so you better save. So be mindful of that. Okay, now we have picked some materials. I won't want to pick any material for this one because it will lag the system. So we are now going to go into the composition aspect of this work. Okay, so what we are going to start doing is we are going to start from the curtains and the lights, interior lights. That's where I start from. So I'm just going to go to this my content library and I'm going to go to place. Okay, under here I'm going to look for the curtains I use. Okay, and this is the curtain I actually use. I'm just going to place it in and click on this select icon to move it around. So I'm just going to move this one here and here. So as you can see, the material of this curtain is actually translucent because I want light to be able to pass through. But I'm just going to edit the material a bit and make it, I think the material is okay. I think this translucent level is okay. So I'm just going to go back to selecting and be able to select it. So before I start placing lights, I'm going to go over to this tab this top left corner of the screen, and I'm going to click on add layer, and I'm going to rename this layer. I'm going to change the name of the layer to artificial light. So I'm going to click finish. Okay, under this artificial light, I'm going to start placing some lights. Okay, so now the layer is actually set at artificial light. I'm going to start placing interior lights. So to do that, the best light for interior lighting in Lumion is actually this area light. So I'm just going to place it, and I'm going to place it at the ceiling level, and I'm going to click on this and drag it down a bit over here. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm of course going to increase the brightness of the light a bit. I'm going to increase the warmth of the light. I'm going to change it towards orange and just increase the warmth slightly. I don't want the warmth to be too much. So as you can see, you can actually see some level of light from this interior, and you can see the level is the layer is set in artificial light. So if I hide this artificial light, everything will hide, all the light. So you should be very careful when placing this artificial light, and we're going to hold Alt to copy this model. We're going to hold Alt, and as you can see, we can actually we can't select any other thing because the model selection is set only in light. If I click all, I'll be able to select the model too, but I'm just going to keep it back to light. So the only model types you can select is actually the light. So I'm just going to click this. I'm going to drag it down a bit. I think this is okay. So I'm just going to click on not place. I'm going to click on select. So I'm going to be copying this interior light around. Going to place it in this room. Okay, I'm going to pause this video now. Okay, we are going to continue placing the lights. I was distracted a bit right there. Okay, so we're going to continue copying the lights, and we're going to keep placing the artificial lights. Placing the artificial lights. There are a lot of spaces in this building, so I'm only going to be placing the light where it will be significant to the view. That is where it will be visible to the camera shot I took. So I'm just going to place in the front side of the buildings, like these front spaces. So just to manage as much time as possible. So I'm just going to select and place. I'm just going to select and place light in these spaces. I'm going to go to this space and select light as well. I'm also going to go to this space and select light. So we're going to go over to the other wing and place some lights as well. Going to place lights there as well too. Going to place light here. Going to place light here. Going to place some light here. Okay, I think the light we've placed. Okay, let's place some in this big space here. I think it will be significant here. Going to place light here. We're going to place light there. Okay, another set of lights I'll be placing is actually light in this, some spotlight and some two-way lights. So to do that, I'm just going to go to this place over here. I'm going to select some point lights for these wall sounds, or these two-way ones. I'm just going to place one over here. I'm going to click on this select tab here. So I'm going to edit this one a bit. I actually like the wall sounds light cool, so I'm just going to take it towards this blue. Increase the cone angle a bit to 2.6 rad. Or let's make it bigger since I selected this narrow wall sounds. So I'm just going to copy it. So I'm just going to select all of this, and I'm going to rotate it on the y-axis, and I'm going to select this and just going to place it aligned with this wall sounds. I'm going to reduce the brightness a bit, and also for this one reduce the brightness a bit. Okay, so I'm just going to start placing these lights and copying it all over the place where the wall sounds actually are. So I'm just going to be placing them here, and I'm going to be placing them here. Okay, so I'm just going to be placing them here. I'm going to be placing them here. Okay, I think we are done for some of the lights. Okay, let's just lastly place some more widespread floodlights like this one here, and we're just going to place it here. We're going to click on this select tab again. We're going to increase the cone angle. We're going to reduce the brightness. I don't want this one too bright, and I'm just going to copy it. Remember, all of them are under this artificial lights layer, so you actually see the use in some time to come. Now you'll see the use while I'm placing them in one layer very soon. So I'm just going to be placing this light and copying them. And I'm also going to be copying them to this part. I think I'm also going to be copying them lastly at these balconies. And I'm just going to select this. And we're going to click on this and place it here. Okay, I think now we're done for the lights. So we're just going to go back to this layer 1. So I'm just going to go back and continue selecting these curtain models and actually be copying it in significant places that will be visible in the render. So I'm just going to be copying another one here. I'm going to copy it to the first floor. So I'm going to be holding alternate key. Remember, to copy in Lumion, you hold the alternate key to copy. So I'm also going to be copying this one here. I'm going to be going and be looking around. I don't need a curtain in the kitchen, so I don't need to place a curtain there. So I'm just going to be looking at places I'll need to place the curtains. Okay, I think we need to place a curtain here. So we're just going to select it. It's easy to locate some models because you can actually see them. They are toggle over here to be able to select them, and just hold Alt key to copy them and drag them. Alt and drag. So we're just going to rotate this one and we're going to place them just parallel to the windows where they are supposed to be assigned. So we're going to place this one here. If you notice, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going back to this my camera shot to actually look at it and look at the places that will be useful in the view. So I'm just going to be looking around and basically selecting this and copying the curtains. So I think I'm just going to copy this one here and simply hold alternate key to copy it vertically. Hold alternate key and drag it. I'm also going to hold this, move horizontally, and hold the alternate key and drag it to this point too. I don't need to be into the space. As far as I can just visually grab it, I will just be able to adjust it. I don't think I need to copy to this lower space, and we're just going to go to this space here. We're going to look where we can copy the curtains to. Okay, so we're just going to copy this one again. I'm going to try and place it here. So we're going to try and rotate it, and we're going to move it horizontally, and we're going to just place it. And we're going to copy it. Alright, so a thing I just noticed is I'll just need to go to materials again and copy this material and copy it from here and paste it here. Just going to paste it. Okay, it has pasted successfully. So I think this is looking good. So we're going to click finish. We are now going to be going back to the camera shots to actually look at with a 3D view and start looking to actually bring out the composition very well. So as you can see, the 3D view is still very empty. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to build. Okay, so I'm going to go back to content library and I'm going to go back to outdoor and start placing some external factors or external components. So I'm going to be placing other buildings first. So I'm just going to go to low-rise residential buildings and I'm going to place like 1 or 2 along this region here. So I'm going to rotate it. I'm going to place another one. I'm going to place one over here. Just go to page 3. I'm going to place one over here and set it here and put it back. So I'm just going to go to the perspective view again and look at what we are doing. Okay, it's actually not bad, but I still feel that here is still looking very weird because it's only the roof we are seeing. So I'm going to go back to build and I'm going to rotate this building to actually show the gable side. Okay, let's use this region. Actually, let's rotate it 90 degrees. Let's rotate it at 90 degrees, or rather just go here and click on 0. Change the color to cream and we're going to click good. I'm going to go to the shot and see. Okay, this is actually looking good. So we're going to go back again and we're going to go to place some outdoor components. So we're going to go to imported model this time. We're going to place. So first of all, we're going to place my favorite Range Rover vehicle model. So I'm just going to click it to take some time to load in, and I'm going to place it over here and I'm going to rotate it. I'm going to place this and move it vertically and just set it in place. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is to place, maybe let's look for a overhead tank. So where do I think I'll place a overhead tank? I think towards the back of the building, and I'm just going to place it and click there and just going to go down, place it, place or move horizontally and place it here. Okay, I'm going to go further and I'm going to place some electrical lines. This is not really compulsory, but I just feel it will make it more relatable and realistic. So I'm just going to search for my electric line. So I'm going to place this electric line and I'm going to rotate it. So we are just going to place it, drag it and place it here. And we're going to click on this, hold alternate to copy. Okay, so we're going to go back to the perspective view and look at what we've done. Okay, so far so good, is actually coming out, but we still need to put in some work. Okay, so we're now going to go and start some vegetation. So we're going to go to this nature and we're going to place it. Okay, the first thing in vegetation, what I usually do is actually I'll start by placing what I call base vegetation. So this base vegetation includes hedges and palms. So I'm going to start from there. I'm going to look for Lumion hedges. Let's go to under this plant. I think it's in page 2. So I'm going to place this hedge. and actually place the hedges here and rotate it. Oh, we have actually forgot one thing. Click on files and click on save. As you can see, it's actually showing me it's been 20 minutes since I last saved, so I'm just going to click on save. So I'll go back to build. So I'm going to start copying these hedges. So I'll start by holding alternate key to be copying the hedges. Going to be copying the hedges. Going to be copying the hedges. Going to be copying the hedges. I don't think we need to copy it up until that end. We just need a few, and we're going to copy a few. If you actually want to make it easier, we could just hide this layer 2 and layer 5, so it will be easier for us. You just click on this. Okay, cannot hide active layer. Select layer 1, click on layer 5, hide layer 5 and hide layer 2. So we could easily see it the way it's actually showing in the camera shot we took. So I'm just going to hold Alt and place some here. Going to place some here. Going to place some here. And some here. Oh, okay. So we're now going to copy this hedges over to this point, and we're going to rotate it. Or we're going to click on it, so we'll rotate it. And click on it and just place it here, and also copy it a bit and place it here. Okay, so we have actually done some vegetation. Remember, this one is out of place. We are just going to rotate it to this point, and we're going to go back to the camera shot and just look at it. It's coming up, but we are still far from where we want to be yet, so I'm going to go back to build. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is to actually place some palms. I'm going to go to this palm family here, and I'm going to look for some very good palms. Let's use we're going to use this one and place this one at this point. Then we're just going to use small palms that are not really overwhelming. We're going to look for little palms, not these really big ones. I'm going to use the smaller palms. So we're just going to use this one, and we're going to place it at intervals. Just going to place it in the hedges. Place this one. Place this. Also going to place 1 or 2 here. If you notice, I didn't actually place some edges here. The reason being is our camera is actually from this point. So for now, I don't see any reason to place hedges here. And if you are working with Lumion, I would personally advise it's better to work from camera points of view. So once you pick a camera, you work with that camera view and work to the best interest of that shot, then go to the next shot. And I think that way you can actually maximize the potential of quality in that particular shot. So that is just my own philosophy. I actually got it from one of my mentors, so shout out to him. So we are just going to continue. Okay, now we have placed the, let me call it primary vegetation. We're now going to place the secondary vegetation. What do I mean by secondary vegetation? Secondary vegetation are all these spot trees, all these catchy spot trees. So we're just going to go back to nature, and I don't think nature will actually cut it for what I want. So I'm going to go to find detailed nature, and I'm going to go to this page 2, and I'm going to select, there's one very nice tree, so I'm going to select this tree first. You're actually going to see the photos. I'm going to place this one over here. I'm going to place this other flower here. I'm going to place this flower here. Okay, So I'm also going to place some other plants here at this point that are not too obstructive. So I'm going to go to plant and I'm going to place, there's one particular plant I'm looking for. And yes, there you have it, homeboy. So I'm just going to place them at intervals. I'm going to look back at the shot again. I'm going to look at it. We're not yet there yet. So the next thing I'm going to do is to place other components while I'm still keeping an eye on the green, potential changes in the green area. So I'm just going to go to outdoor. I'm going to go to assorted. I'm going to look for, there's this specific flower pot I used to look at. I'm going to go to this and I'm going to increase the size of this flower pot, and I'm going to change the color to peach. Okay, now we have changed the color to peach. We're just going to click on place and we're going to select a kind of bushy flower from nature. Go to broad leaves, go to page 2, page 3. If you don't see it, then we're going to select this beautiful flower here. I'm going to see what we are just going to reduce the size. I'm going to leave it at this. Okay, our shot is coming out well. So we're also going to place some plants here. We're going to click on place. We're going to go to find detailed nature. We're going to go to page 1 and we're going to go to this, and we're going to place this lemon tree here. We're also going to reduce this. Okay, we're also going to place some other stuff. Okay, so we're going to go to outdoor. We are going to go to this. We are going to place this lawnmower and we're going to place it somewhere here, just to kind of increase the playfulness a bit and make it fun. We're just going to change the color to red, and we're going to start placing some human beings, some entourages around, just to put life into the scene. We're going to place this man. I'm just assuming he's the lawnmower. No racist involved. No racism involved. So people start thinking another thing. And we're also going to place other humans around. Going to place this guy walking. Going to place this lady. We're going to put the lady in the balcony. I actually thought there was no door in that balcony. I was like, oh, what? How will you be designing this at this level? So we're just going to drag the woman to a position where she will be most visible. And we're going to go back to the shot and see what we are doing. Okay, so far so good. It's coming out. But we need to do something. If you notice, this view is actually looking so open. So what I'm just going to do is to go back to build. Go back to find detailed nature. We're now going to look at this tree. And we're going to drag this tree. So this tree will kind of, you see what will happen here. So I'm just going to go back to the shot. You see, the tree is actually showing small, but it's not yet where we want it. We are now going to click build. And we're going to drag the tree a bit more. And we're going to click here. And we're going to click this. No, it's not yet where we want it to be. We're going to drag it closer to our camera position. And we're going to go to build again. Oh, that is too much. We're going to drag it out a bit. Going to place it over here. Going to click on it and click on this. No, we are not yet there yet. It's still too much. We're going to drag it back and place it here. Okay, this is still too much. It's obstructing the view. Going to drag it back. Look at the camera again. We're going to keep doing this till we get what we want. So we're going to, there is still a bit too much. It's covering too much of the sky. Going to drag it a little bit more. And let's see. Oh, okay. I think this is actually pretty good. Let me just drag it small because of my green bias. I'm actually a green architect and I love the green. You should take it forever for whatever it means, whatever. Okay, I think this is all right. So now we have actually put in the base composition. We are now going to put in more background greenery just to finalize the greenery a bit. So we're going to place it, and we're going to go to this regular greenery. We're going to go to some trees and look for some trees to place under this broadleaf. We're going to look for some very colorful, beautiful trees, and I usually pick this one. You can find it in page 9 of broadleaves. So I usually pick this one and just place it at this corner so it will kind of block this joint extension or this sudden breaking of fence. And I'm just going to reduce the size. I'm also going to place some of them along these positions. I'm going to place one over here, and I'm going to place another color here. Hey, no, I placed it on the fence. So I'm just going to place it here, just behind this traffic light. I'm going to reduce the size a bit, and I'm going to reduce the size. And I'm also going to place some other trees just for the purpose of casting shadows. So I'm going to place some trees here, 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 and here. And I'm going to click escape, and I'm going to go back to camera, and I'm going to go to camera view. Okay, this tree is actually not the best. I'm still seeing a lot of this. I'll still find a way to actually block off this zone. So I'm going to go back to build. I'm not seeing this tree we actually put. If you notice how I'm working, as I told you before, I'm actually working in respect to the view in particular. So it's all about this view. It's all about what I want to get with this view. So I'm going to go back to light, and I notice that there is no light in this stairway. So I'm just going to click on this move freely, and I'm going to copy one of these lights and place here. Okay, then I'm going to click. So finally I'm going to click on materials again, and I'm going to apply material here, and I'm going to go to various. I'm going to go to 3D grass, and I'm now going to go to this wild grass because it's actually outside the site. So as you can see, it's actually taking time on my system. So it has been loaded and my system is hanging. So I'm just going to click on good, and I'm going to also go back to files and save the file again. So we'll go back to build. As you can see, the capacity, my system is actually, the Lumion is actually consuming 28% of my system, but I think that is fair. My system is actually a legend. So let's move on. We're going to reduce the grass size. As you can see what I'm doing here, if I increase it, it will look like a forest. So I'm just going to reduce it. Okay, reduce it to this point. Okay, I think this is okay. So I'm going to click good. So now I'm now going to place some eye catchers in this view now. What do I mean by eye catchers? Eye catchers are those little things that will actually draw their attention. They are not actually that important, but they are actually makes the view more interesting. Well, what do I mean? So I'm going to place some rocks and some shrubs around just to make it realistic and catch the eye of the proposed or the supposed audience. So I'm just going to go to this page 2. I'm going to go to this one, and I'm going to place this rock here. I'm going to reduce the size a bit. So I'm going to go back to this shot. I'm going to look out where it is. Okay, as you can see, the rock is just resting here. So you see what I'm going to do with it. So I'm just going to go here, click on place some of this natural. I'm going to place some twigs here and there. I'm going to find some large twigs like this one and place it here. It's not still visible. I'm going to go and place some shrubs. Going to place some shrubs around, place some shrubs here and there. And we are going to place some grass. So So I'm just going to go to page 2. I'm going to select one of my favorite grass, that is this one. I'm just going to attach it here. I'm going to reduce the size. Okay, that is too much. Reduce it here. So I'm also going to place some other shrubs around. So I'm going to go to this forest. We'll go to page 3. I'll go to page 2. And I'm going to select one of these dead trees. And I'm going to put one at this corner here, or close to it, or maybe here. The reason I'm doing it, I actually want to find something to block this region. So I'm just going to go to camera shot and I'm going to look at the camera. Okay, so as you can see, it's actually blocking to some extent. And I'm now going to go to build and I'm going to put a flower or something there. So I'm just going to go to plants. I'm going to go to this one and I'm going to go to this one, and I'm just going to place it here. Reduce the size a bit, or rather increase the size. Okay, so we're also going to place some other shrubs here. I don't think these shrubs are enough. Be careful while you are placing shrubs so it won't drag too much attention from the building. So there's always a balance while working with this kind of thing. I'm just going to play with some little flowers. I don't mean the big flowers, I just mean all these little flowers here and there. I'm going to place some here, here. I'm going to look for some very light but yet beautiful flowers, just to make this scenery and maximize the profit of Lumion, that is landscaping. And we're going to find one, if I may use this word, juicy flower here. Then I'm just going to place it over here. I'm just going to click shot, and we're going to see the perspective. Okay, so as you can see, we're coming far. We have placed some eye catchers and the environment is looking very lush. So we're going to go to build again, and we're going to place another eye catcher yet again. So we're going to go to this plant, and we're going to go to, I think, page 6. Then what are we going to place? Who can guess it? We're going to place some butterflies. So we're going to place the butterfly here. No, that is not necessary to go this far. It's just me having fun here. So I'm just going to go to people and animals, and I'm going to place some birds. So I'm just going to go under this. I'm going to birds, and I'm just going to place the simple pigeon. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to place all the birds together. Like 11 of them should be enough. Then I'm going to click on select. So as you can see, these birds in Lumion, they actually move in an oscillatory manner. So if you are selecting the model, you actually see them flying on this ground level. So I'm just going to hold Ctrl and select all of them and actually move them up using this vertical movement tool in the select tab. So I'm just going to drag them up, and now they are flying over the building, and I'm now going to click on this. Okay, so as you can see, our building has almost all the elements. We have some birds, we have butterfly, we have some shrubs over here. I'll kind of move this butterfly from here to this point because there's a lot of elements here. So, and here is looking a bit light, so to create something like a balance. So I'm going to click on build again, and I'm going to click on select for this butterfly, and I'm going to move it. I'm going to move it here. Okay, so I think we have gone very far. I feel that this guy here over here is kind of taking too much attention in this view. So I'm just going to place him away. I don't want him to take too much attention. Who is he? I mean, who the hell is he? So I'm just going to place it here, and I'm going to place you. Okay, I think there's one more thing left to do. My palm tree cannot go to waste because it's not showing in this view. So I'm just going to go to nature, select it, and actually drag it here. And what I'm going to do now is a bit tricky. I'm going to place it here, and I'm going to tilt it. I'm going to tilt it on this axis. I'm going to just double tap and select the edit it to -5, or rather -10. Okay, and I'm going to click select again, and I'm going to move it. I'm going to go to my shots and pick this. Okay, I think yes, the palm tree is actually showing now, and I think so far we are done, or rather we're almost done. The only thing I'm just going to do is some touches on these materials. I want the red to be much more red, you get what I mean? And I'm going to click goods. Okay, so now I think we're done with the composition. The next thing to do is the render settings. So to do that, I'm just going to go to FX. I'm going to go to sky, or rather I'm going to go to I'm going to go back and I'm going to click on this custom settings, and I'm going to start from realistic, or rather let's not use realistic, let's go back, let's do everything manually. So I'll show you go through all the setting interface manually. So I'm just going to start with FX. I'm going to start from the first one. I'm going to look through it. Now I don't need anything here. I'm going to go to weather. Under weather, yes, I will need something from it. I'm going to go to precipitation. I want rain to be falling in this view, but I don't want the rain to actually be falling. I just want the after effects of rain. So I'm going to reduce this extra fog addition. I'm going to reduce this block bias, and I'm going to increase the precipitation phase to small, a bit low. Then I'm going to remove the precipitation quantity and the particle size, so it will not actually be raining. It should just have the stones will be wet and everything to actually have the after effect of rain. So I'm just going to go to FX again. I'm going to go to sky. I'm going to go to real sky. Okay, under this real sky, I want kind of an early morning view. So I'm going to go to this, and I'm going to go to clear. So I'm going to go to this sky here, and I'm going to rotate it and change the heading. I want the sun to be at 45 degrees to the building, so I'm just going to place it here. Okay, and I'm going to just place it here. Yeah, I think this is fine. So I'm going to increase this brightness and increase this overall brightness. Then I'm going to go to FX again. I'm going to go to object. I'm going to go to autumn colors, and I'm now going to go to saturation at 1.4. I'm going to go to FX again. I'm going to go to camera. I'm going to go to exposure, and I'm going to increase the exposure to, let's make it 0.6. No, it's too much. 0.5. 0.5. Yeah, I think this is balanced. So I'm going to go to FX again. I'm going to go to lens flare. I'm going to go to master brightness. I'm going to increase the master brightness. I'm going to increase the isolate bright pixels. I'm going to increase the lens depth and touch the halo amount small. And I'm going to go to FX again, and I'm going to go to artistic one. Under the artistic one, I'm going to go to color coloration or color correction. I'm going to increase the temperature a bit. Then I'm going to increase the tint a bit. I'm going to increase the brightness of the colors, or rather leave it a bit dark or balanced rather. Then I'm going to increase the contrast a bit. Then I think we are done for the color correction. We're going to go to FS, going to go to sharpen. We're going to reduce the intensity of the sharpen to mid. We're going to go to FX again. We're going to go to noise. We're going to actually denoise it a bit to reduce the intensity to as low as possible. Going to go to FX again, going to get to this vignette. We're going to reduce the amount to as low as possible. We're going to go to FX, we're going to go to artistic 2, we're going to go to bloom, and we're going to reduce this bloom to around where the U alphabet is. Yeah, I think that is good. We're going to go to FX again. We're going to go to bleach, and we're going to bleach it a bit. I'm going to reduce it to around O. Okay, so we're going to go to FX again. Then we're going to increase it to we're going to go to advanced. We're going to go to shadows. Okay, we're going to check these soft shadows and check these fine detail shadows. The shadow, we're going to just increase this interior exterior. The shadow brightness I think is okay, so we don't need to do anything again. I'm now going to go to this reflection. We are going to now click on, before we click on check this speedway reflection, we are just going to pick our reflection planes and just going to add reflection planes. And we're going to pick the planes. We're going to pick the planes. Going to pick the planes. And we're going to click finish. Okay, we just have a few more planes to pick. I'm going to pick this plane. Let's see if we can pick the ceiling. I'm going to pick this plane. I'm going to click finish. Then we're going to click on this restore camera so it will get back, and we're going to just click check this speedway reflection. So we're going to go back to FX. We're going to go to hyperlight. So we're going to increase the hyperlight amount, and we're going to check this enable preview. We're also going to click on this FX again, and we're going to go to this skylight. This time we're going to increase the brightness, and we're going to increase the saturation, and we're going to check these two, skylight reflection and skylight projected reflection, wherever they wrote, and we're going to check it at high. This is actually a strong system that can actually process this. I actually forgot to do something in the reflection. I'm going to go back to the reflection, and we are going to pick one more plane, and we're going to just pick this railing. I'm going to pick this. So as you can see, we're almost done with it. So we are just going to do some final touches before we actually render this image now. So we're going to go to this print poster enhancer and just check it. So we are just going to go back to the building and look at whether we can add one or two before we render. So we're just going to go to the lighting, and this light over here, I'm going to increase the brightness. Okay, not that much. Let's work on this one. We're going to increase the brightness here. And we're going to look at it, and we're going to go here. So as you can see, that brightness is actually too much. I'm going to go to build, and I'm going to reduce it. Okay, I think we're all set. We're just going to go to this effect again and go to this artistic one, go to color correction, and I feel the temperature should be a bit much more. So I'm just going to reduce it. Okay, that is too much, like it's daytime. And I think we're just right. Once again, we're going to save the project before we render. And we're going to go to photos again, and we're going to click on the image that is set. We're just going to restore the camera again with all this setting, and we're going to click on this render tab over here. Okay, and we're going to now click on print because we actually want it to be in a high quality. So I'm just going to click on print, and I'm going to save it as project folder, and I'm just going to change it as render 1. And we're going to save it. So as you can see, while rendering, you actually see the Lumion will actually show you the time wasted and the time remaining. So currently for this view, unfortunately, it's actually quite heavy even for my system. So it's actually going to take 27 minutes to render. So we're just going to wait for it to render, and we'll just wait. Now, as you can see, the render is actually complete. So we're just going to click OK, and we're going to look at what we just rendered. And we're going to just go here, going to go to focus, project folder, and we're going to click on render 1, and we're just going to open it and see. Okay, let me make it full screen. So as you can see, the render is looking pretty decent, and it actually even looks good in my own opinion. I don't know about you. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, we are just going to carry it for some post-production and carry it to Photoshop and see what we can do there. So to do that, we are just going to I'm going to open Photoshop on my system. What I use is Adobe Photoshop 2021. So I'm just going to use it for this post-production. So as you can see, we're in our Photoshop menu. It actually has most of the thumbnails and images I've done. So we're just going to drag this our image and open a new file. We're just going to wait, and so we have opened Photoshop now. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to go to this filter, and I'm going to go to filter, camera raw filter. Okay, so some basic panels will just come out here. So we're just going to edit some of these basic parameters. So we're going to click on this basic first. The temperature is actually okay. I'm going to make it a bit cooler, so I'm going to reduce the temperature. The tint, I'm going to increase the tint towards the purple side. The exposure, I'm going to increase the exposure a bit. Okay, I think it's enough here. The contrast, I'm going to increase the contrast just slightly, a little bit. Most of these settings we've actually done them in Lumion. So the shadows, I think the shadows are okay. They don't need to get any more darker. The texture, we're going to increase the texture, increase the clarity, and we're going to leave this dehaze. We don't need it for anything. This texture, I'm just going to drop it a bit. Okay, let's leave the texture at this point, the clarity at this point. We're going to go to this detail finally, and we're going to increase the sharpening, the sharpness of it, and the noise reduction. So that's it and done. We're going to click OK, and the settings will reflect. So some few final things I'm going to do, I'm just going to go to my folder and load in some of my Photoshop library, and I'm just going to bring in some flares. Okay, for this flare, it currently has a background, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select it under here in these layers. Then I'm going to change it from normal to screen. Okay, that's it. The thing will now be without a background. So I'm just going to select it, Ctrl T, and hold Alt to reduce the size in place. So I'm just going to double click to save it, and I'm just going to zoom in, hold Alt to zoom in, and I'm going to place these flares appropriately on the spotlights. I'm going to hold Alt to copy. I'm just going to move them, hold Alt again. I'm just going to move them, and I'm going to click Ctrl T here, and I'm going to reduce this one, hold Alt and just reduce it in place a bit. Double click here, click on this, Ctrl T, hold Alt, the Alt key on your keyboard, and reduce it a bit. Hold Alt to zoom out. Then I'm going to hold Alt to copy these smaller ones over here, and copy this over here. We're just going to adjust it a bit. We're going to hold Alt again to copy this one here, all these flares. And we're just going to paste this one here. I'm going to zoom out. Okay, and we're just going to save this. I'm just going to save it as render 1. And we're going to finally export it. Export as well. We're just going to click on this file over here, then click on export, then click on export as. Then this tab will come up. Then we're just going to change this image size to 4K, so it will just be balanced at 4K. Then we're going to export and export it as. We're going to just change the location, change it April, change it, and we're going to change it to render 1 edited, and we're going to click save. So I'm just going to close the SketchUp file, save it and close it. Okay, now we currently have our two folders here. Our folder here where the two of them edited one. So as you can see, this is the edited one and this is the raw one from Revit. See the edited one, see the raw one. The difference is clear, and I think the edited one looks a bit better. Okay, that is all for the video. If you have made it this far, I would like to personally tell you congratulations, because this is actually like a big leap from a newbie in Lumion 11 Pro to actually an intermediate or pro level. Okay, pro is too far, but I think this is a leap from beginner to intermediate in Lumion 11. So if this video was helpful, reward us by hitting the like button, subscribe to the channel, share with your friends, hit the notification bell to get notified once we release a new video. Have a nice day and thank you.